me now, but it's Kaitlyn's birthday. She's left her already.
Yeah!
Do you want to sing for her or just cheer for her?
Sing.
Sing, all right, ready? 1, 2.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kaitlyn. Happy birthday to you.
Woo!
Thank you very much.
She is going to murder me with her size. So, all right, everyone. Well, thank you very much. Welcome to the LGBTQIA Know You Move panel. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Just one thing, though. I mean, we do. This is talking about human sexuality and the struggles and some things we face in life. So, this isn't gonna be an adults panel, but it might be a little PG-13. So just keep that in mind. I don't see too many young kids here, but just in case, there might be some terms used. But anyways, let's start over here with Lucas. Just kind of go through. Let us know who you are, what you do, why you're here. Favorite color and all that fun stuff?
Hi, I'm Lucas Fowler. I am a trans man, and I am chair of T of Utah, and I've been on podcasts and used to host my own, but it was a queer-related, not a geek-related. I also happen to be very, very geek, so I kind of inserted myself into this to make sure there was trans representation, and they kept me around, so I'm here.
My name is Kaitlyn Booth. I am a film critic for WatchPlayRead.com, MonkeysFightingRobots.com, and co-host of the Nerd Dome podcast, and I am here as a member of the asexual community.
Hi, I'm Vincent Roth, and many years ago I produced a movie, out-gay superhero movie to play on the big screens called Surge of Power, The Stuff of Heroes. It had 20 celebrity cameos in it, and we just finished the sequel that just played yesterday here for the first time, called Surge of Power, Revenge of the Sequel, now with 50 stars to help bring back our gay superhero to the big screen. Anyone here saw the screening yesterday morning? Nobody, well, wow. They're not getting the word out. They're not getting the word out, but I'm really glad that Salt Lake was open enough to be the first place to play our openly gay superhero yesterday morning.
Hi guys, I'm LJ Hachmeister. I'm an author. I've written Triarian the series, so if you like Stranger Things, Ender's Game, and Star Wars, you might like my stuff.
Ender's Game, I heard.
Oh, sweet! You should come see me. Basically, this series was, it helped me come out, so I had a very difficult time coming out in such a homogenous, whitewashed, conservative town. So this series saved my life. I'm married to my lovely wife. Been with her for 14 years, and yeah, I'm glad. I don't do labels, but I definitely like women. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Michael Jensen. I pause every time I say that because I just recently changed my last name when I got married to my husband.
Nice! Congratulations!
So anyway, yes, I am an author of the novel Woven with Scholastic Press, along the vein of Lord of the Rings or the Chronicles of Narnia, something right in that mix. Yeah, and I'm just so happy to be on this panel. I've done this panel for about 3 years now, and it's the one that I look forward to every single con. So, yay!
Yay!
We should also probably mention that Brooke didn't make it because she had surgery, but we miss her just because there's video and we need to make sure she knows.
Yes, our amazing friend Brooke Heim, she's fantastic. She had to have some back surgery. It was either now or next month, and we want to make sure she was taken care of. So we're definitely getting her a copy of the video so she can see this, because she would have loved to have been here. So, anyways, hey, yeah. Anyways, these are our panelists. They're amazing people. I'm Adam McDonald. As your moderator, I guess I'm the gay Lorax. So, no, I'm a film critic for Big Shiny Robot, the Bored as Hell podcast, and I also read graphic novels, get drunk, and say horrible things on the Funny Books and Firewater podcast. So, if you want to see the side of me that can't be here, that's where you go. So anyways, the whole point, so who here saw Civil War? Everyone see Civil War? All right, cool. So in the original comic, there's a very, very iconic speech that Captain America gives Spider-Man. Oh, and look what I have here. I have the comic. So this is kind of where I got the idea of this panel and why I presented it, because this is, in my opinion, one of the most important panels we do. I've seen people impacted, touched, and who have come out or have found solidarity they didn't find before. But the speech that Cap gives to Spider-Man at one point says, doesn't matter what the press says, doesn't matter what the politicians or the mob say, doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something wrong is right. This nation was founded on one principle above all else, the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. So, looking at that, they said it much better than me in the movie. So looking at that though, as people, part of the LGBT community, know you moving, plant yourself like a tree by the river of truth. Let's Lucas move on this way. What does that mean to you? How do you present this in your life?
Probably mostly by being out. Before I came out, I really didn't know trans men existed. I had this not well thought out idea that all transgender people were women. And prior to me coming out, I slowly began to realize that trans men existed, and so I saw something of myself, right? But that's part of why I'm just out everywhere I go. I mean, it's not like I go waving a flag all over the place, but I'm not afraid to sit at dinner and talk about something transition related and get overheard by the next table. And so just occupying my space is the biggest change since I began transition.
For me, it's mostly just about raising awareness and trying to get rid of preconceived notions when it comes to what it means to be asexual, aromantic, anywhere along that spectrum. And just trying to help people understand that you are not if you identify as ace or aromantic or anything like that, you're not a broken human being, you are just a human being.
Well, along the theme that you're suggesting here, to me, I just feel like I need to keep moving. And the first Surge of Power film started playing back in 2004, and there hasn't been an openly gay superhero on the big screen or even small screen since, and in some ways it's kind of good. Now I'm coming out with a sequel, and again, trying to promote awareness, and I find it interesting that in the whole gay panel, people I guess weren't even aware that this was playing here. So, keeping on moving, and as you say, awareness, so that people see that there are things out there. There is media out there. There are things that are telling our stories in print as well as video. So the don't move, I think for me means I need to keep on moving, regardless of whether there is something in my way or not. And there's certainly, I think I mentioned yesterday on the feminist panel, that there are people that try to prevent me from making the sequel.
Yeah.
So there's still attitudes out there that, we clearly see there's racial tension and such in this country. So keep on moving is my way of saying I'm not moving.
That's wonderful. Honestly, I was just telling these guys here before we started the panel that I still deal with a lot of issues of terror and shame with liking women. And even, I'm from Denver, so even coming here, I was a little afraid to even, when I got picked up from the airport to come here, I was afraid to say I was married to a woman when they asked. So I'm just taking little incremental steps every single day to make sure that, growing up, I didn't have a lesbian character that I could identify as a hero, so I created one, and so I reach out with my writing. I'm starting to be brave when people ask about what I write about and more about my personal life, that I mention my wife. I'm also a nurse, and I still deal with, people always ask me for whatever reason if I'm married, and I'm taking that step to saying yes to my lovely wife. It's very, very difficult for me though. And I'm also, the big thing I'm doing now, really pushing, is representation for the poly community. My wife and I don't necessarily engage in that, but I am very much for that idea, and it's still not talked about enough in mainstream.
Poly here too.
Yeah.
For me, the moment that it really came to me having to plant myself was actually with getting my book published. I had a local publisher who was going to publish it. I'm condensing this story into a very short read because it's a long story. But anyway, I had a publisher. The publisher decided to drop the book because I had put in my bio that I lived in Salt Lake City with my partner and our 4 dogs. They didn't think they could sell the book to Deseret and some of the Mormon local companies. So they dropped the book, which actually ended up being my fault because I said, no, I'm not going to take it out. I'm not removing that. That is my book. This is how I want my bio to be. Scariest thing I've ever done in my life because I knew it meant my book may never get published. But the outcome of that was that people heard about this. It became a big national media story and heard from people in New York. We had agents, publishers contacting us to let us know, just to let us know that they supported my decision and that the writing community is behind me. And it was the best feeling ever. And then ended up with Scholastic signing us for the book. And on the back, it says that I live in Salt Lake City, or not in the back, inside. It says I live in Salt Lake City with my husband and our 4 dogs. So.
And I fully support having 4 dogs and not 4 kids because that's just but no, I love the stories and I like the idea that I remember your story actually because I was, years ago I remember reading about it, Facebook, Google News. And I think we've all had that moment where, like you said, we had to stand firm and say, no, this is what I am, this is who I am, I'm not hiding. And I think that was, we talked about it at the feminism panel as well. For me, it was watching Pink Flamingos and loving how out and just in your face Divine was. And like I said, if I ever decide to do drag, I will be Divine. And, but no, there's that time you sit there and you've got to be yourself and you can't turn away. So, another part of this panel we're talking about is, progression, where we've come from, where we've been. And if we look at, even just since Fan X, how far we've come, there's a much bigger dialogue around like trans rights. And there's a much bigger dialogue around, gay people feeling, LGBT people feeling protected and safe in their own homes. And that's a good thing. We're seeing more representation in media. And we've also got some not so nice things. We had Orlando, which was just absolutely devastating. I think that was like, not to say that wasn't the same loss of life as 9/11, but that hit me just as hard. And we've got Cinnamon Hitler as the Republican frontrunner for. We'll edit that part out. So Michael, let's go this way this time. What are some things that we've done that some really big steps we've taken in representation that's been positive? And then what's one thing we should change, or maybe a couple things we should change?
So I missed that first part, I'm sorry.
Just that there's been a lot of progression, and we've gone forward a lot, but there's still a lot of work to do, so.
There's still a lot of work to do. You mean just as far as the way...
Representation in the media and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go. I think for the most part, we've become accepted. I think the media generally accepts, the LGBTQ community, but there's still a lot of misunderstanding around it. And I constantly at work have people who have zero education about it, even though they see it on TV. Often what they see on TV is maybe, a little bit more of the comedy side of it. And so we get a lot of people who think that, we're funny people, and they don't quite understand that we're just normal people. And so I think we still have a ways to go. And I do just I'm just gonna put in a little extra that the panel last year was really inspiring to me, very touching, and I actually am starting another story right now that is, my main character is trans, and I feel like we need more middle grades, teach the kids, teach everyone that this can just be a normal thing. It's not a special thing, it's just a normal thing.
I really like how you put that. It's not a special thing, it's a normal thing. And that's, I fully support that. I really like Sense8 and Lost Girl. You guys have seen those? I really like Lost Girl, as campy as it can be and cheesy. Just because I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I never heard them say the word lesbian or gay or bisexual in the entire series. And they never made a thing about, Bo having both Dyson and Lauren at one point. It was just so beautiful. So I endured that 4th and 5th season just because it was just perfect. That was like, that was an ideal sort of world for me. I really like that. And Sense8 is pretty cool too. I like that they have a trans character on it. That was great. And then she kicks ass. But in terms of where we still need to go, I just see it more in my personal life, and also the big screen. I'm really hoping in Wonder Woman they have somebody that I can really get behind. It seems like it's going to be the typical guy-girl romance. But in terms of day-to-day stuff, as soon as people find out I'm a lesbian, this happens to me in the publishing world, it becomes my thing. And I'm like, well, I do like women, but it's part of me. It's not all of me, and they just make it my thing. The last publisher said, "Oh, so you're gay?" And I'm like, yeah. Okay. Like, do you like my work? I mean, okay. And he's like, "Yeah, you just put it in my face." I'm like, "I introduced you to my wife. If it was my husband, how is it putting it in your face?" So it's still, like Michael said, it's still a thing. It doesn't need to be a thing. And I really don't like the focus on my sexuality being an issue. It's just, it's not an issue. Oh, and then I hate men. It's always assumed if I like women, I hate men. And a lot of my friends are guys. I do a lot of martial arts, so we bro out. But I just don't like those things. And so I'm really hesitant to say the word lesbian just because there's so many assumptions behind it.
And I always think it's interesting that if, like, I walk down the street holding my husband's hand, who's right over there. Hi, I love you. If I walk down the street holding my husband's hand, that's shoving my sexuality down your throat. First of all, that's a horrible analogy to use for a gay man. But how is that shoving something down your throat when, like you mentioned, like if a man or a woman walk down the street, that's perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, I don't advocate for, making out and like rah, 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 in the middle of everything. But
I advocate that.
well, I have a really dirty joke. I'm not going to go there. But no, that's an excellent point. I think that's something that I think we're going forward, we're going to see that, like you said, it's normal. It's just, I go home, I watch TV, and I play with the dog. That's how exciting my gay life is.
Did you just call yourself normal?
I want to continue that same. Oh, I'm sorry. Continuing that same theme, there is something that is sort of like special about it. It's the mainstream audience, the mainstream environment has not been exposed enough. I mean, obviously we have a lot more gay characters. I don't know, for those of you who watched True Blood, I liked how they didn't really focus a lot on sex. It just kind of there was this sort of spectrum that people were on, right? Where it was sort of normalized, kind of like what you were describing. We're not there yet. I think we're getting there. I mean, I can certainly say from 12 years now, from the time I put out the first Surge of Power movie to where I am now, it is a very different environment. The first several places up now to screen my movie are all mainstream environments. Salt Lake Comic-Con, I would not have thought that, the perceived to be Mormon, run environment would play my gay superhero movie before Los Angeles does. So we go to premiere in LA and then down in the Orlando area. But these are straight venues, not gay conventions. So I've definitely seen a different acceptance after a decade. It's still not normalized, but I think we're getting there though. I mean, you see characters showing up constantly. You mentioned a couple of programs. Arrow now has a gay character. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. introduced a gay character. The BBC is going to be putting out, because they've obviously had a lot of gay characters in the Doctor Who world. They've got a show coming up with a lead gay character. So it's happening.